As you know, that we passed our budget in the House Bill 1 on April the 3rd. The Senate did not pass a budget and to get it back to us until May the 5th. This has put us in a real time crunch. We've had less than a week so far to meet in conference, but we have made really incredible progress. Your conferees working with the Senate have been able to reach consensus on almost all of the budget items except Article 3, which is education. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. First, I want to thank all the conferees that are standing with me for their hard work. You know, when y'all were home this weekend, we were busy Saturday and Sunday, and we had some guests with us, like the man in the back, Mike, helped us with education. As you well know, we had to make some tough choices in order to live within our means. But as we knew it would be when we passed House Bill 1 out of this chamber, that was just the beginning of the process. And the budget that we will bring back to you will be a better budget. It is better for you and better for your constituents. It'll be a budget you can support when you go back home. Let me tell you a few significant changes that your conferees have already made based on the priorities of members of this House. As you know, House Bill 1 substantially cut rates to nursing homes and your providers. None of us wanted to do this. If there's one thing that I heard since we passed House Bill 1 was we cannot close nursing homes. And I know a lot of you wanted to add back funding for the nursing homes and providers. The conference committee has added enough funding to ensure that these providers will remain open and in business for our state's most vulnerable citizens. And I know Dr. Zerwas has spent hours working in the conference committee. And John, I want to thank you for all your hard work. We were able to fund transportation bonds. The citizens of Texas voted on Proposition 12 bonds. The conference committee added $65 million in debt service, so we will be able to fund our transportation projects over the next 2 years. And I want to thank Representative Darby and Representative Turner for their hard work on these projects. And I told Mr. Sheffield yesterday that we added money to help the congestion on Interstate 35 in the Temple area. And I think a lot of you who drive Interstate 35 know the problems in Temple. House Bill 1 underfunded prison capacity and the health care to inmates. The conference committee has added $128 million in prison capacity and $150 million in health care to adequately fund that system. And I want to thank Representative Turner and Otto for their hard work on this, and also Representative Madden, who's been involved in, of course, the prison health care, and Representative Shelton for being involved in that also. We were able to fund cancer research in a way that saves significant amount of general revenue when it left this House. I know, Debbie, you've always been concerned about border security, and it continues to be a significant challenge to the state of Texas. The conference committee was able to boost our presence on the border with an additional $50 million in general revenue to fund Homeland Security initiatives. Members, that was one area that the introduced bill did not cut, other than one-time capital budget items that was purchased this last biennium. But we gave an additional $50 million for that effort on Homeland Security. But members, we are only able to fund these priorities with the savings and the additional non-tax revenue items that are found in Senate Bill 1811, which will be on the floor tomorrow. The passage of Senate Bill 1811 is vital to completing the conference committee work, especially on education. Without Senate Bill 1811, we will not be able to provide the additional funds for the nursing homes, transportation, border security, or our prisons. I have heard concerns on this floor about the tax speed-ups that were in the House bill that is the companion bill of 1811, Senate Bill 1811. Members, there are no tax speed-ups in Senate Bill 1811 as I bring it to the floor tomorrow. All of the tax speed-ups have been removed. Likewise, some of you have expressed concerns about the suspension of the sales tax holiday. My perfecting amendment will remove this provision as well. But there's a cost to take these items out. Over $1 billion of cost that we were depending on for the sales tax holiday and the speed-ups. That brings me to the pending items still being considered by the conference committee. I think it's the top priority of the members of this House, and that is public and private education. The House and Senate today are nearly $3.8 billion apart just on public education, and an additional $1 billion apart on higher education. Despite these differences, we are still talking, we are still negotiating, and we have not given up that we can find a resolution to these differences. I know the members of this House want to fund our public schools, just as they want our state to live within their means, just like we, as citizens of the state of Texas, have to live in our means. When we are talking about public education, we are talking about two distinct problems. The first is the amount of money, and the second is how that money should be distributed. Representative Crownover and Mike Villarreal and Representative Hochberg and Representative Aycock have worked hours on trying to come up with a solution on our public schools. This morning, with our Senate counterparts, they tried to hammer out a solution as to how that money will be distributed. Make no mistake, we are looking for additional revenue in order to fund education. But as you know, our budget must balance. We must live within our means. We need to find additional revenue without raising taxes and without using additional money from the rainy day fund. Let me give you some examples on what we're doing. Senate Bill 1811, which comes up tomorrow, which I'll cite has nearly 200 amendments, has $1.8 billion for public education. Once this bill passes, the difference between the House and the Senate will be reduced to $2 billion. Even at the Senate level of funding, we are still reducing public education funding by nearly $4 billion. We have Representative Orr's bill, which is HJR 109, that has passed this House and is now over into the Senate. It allows the Land Commissioner to provide more money directly to the available school fund for our schools, which will generate approximately $300 million more dollars for public education. Senator Ogden has another bill which allows the State Board to allocate $184 million from the Permanent School Fund. Today, the Comptroller increased her revenue estimate by $1.2 billion. This is a significant development that reflects the comptroller's faith in the Texas economy. This, along with Senate Bill 1811, will help us finish up the work of the conference committee and help us close the gap on education funding. I want to assure you that your conferees are doing everything possible to reach an agreement that we live within our means, yet also provide additional funds for public education, nursing homes, prisons, border security, and our highways. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to update the members on where we are today, and hopefully before too long we'll be able to bring you a conference committee report.